Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to draw sketch as a parabola graph with finding the turning point first. Okay, um, for instance, the graph y equals to x squared has the turning point on the origin. If I draw the graph of this equation, it will be looks like this: x and y. It will be looks like that. Okay, y equals to x squared. The turning point here is in the origin. The domain is R. Okay. We call this the standard graph. One of the standard graph for standard graph. Standard graph for y for parabola. Okay. We call this the standard graph of parabola. Okay. The idea is if we have a graph with x squared plus 1, it would look like similarly to the standard graph. All parabola, okay, yeah, uh, all parabola looks similarly to the standard graph, of course, but this one just the graph moved 1 unit upwards. I think you did them in year 10. This is called the translation of graph. The graph actually translated 1 unit up. I draw it, it will be something like this. The graph would be something like that: y equals to x squared plus 1, and the domain is that. That's your x, that's your y. This point, the turning point is 0, 1. Okay. Also, so if you have a plus 1 there, it means the graph actually translated 1 unit up. Also, clean this page up. Also, if I have a graph something like 1x plus 1 square and plus, say, plus 2 this time, in this case the graph will translate 2 units up and 1 unit to the left. Why? Because you can try it on your calculator. When we have in the bracket, we make x plus 1 equal to 0, and your x will be minus 1. So this is how do we determine the horizontal translation of the graph. The graph will travels minus 1 units and positive 2 units in minus 1 units horizontally and 2 units in vertically. So as a result, the graph would look like something. The turning point would look like 2 units up and 1 unit left. The turning point will be there, and the graph is going to looks like something there. This is your x and this is your y. This is y equals x plus 1 squared plus 2. Okay, and your x coordinate substitute x equal to 0 in, you will have y will be 3. Okay, this will be 3. Of course, domain is R. Okay, the key point is if you want to determine the the vertical transformation, just look at the number at the end. It's plus 1, moved 1 unit up. If it's plus 2, like here, it moved 2 units up. Okay, the turning point is minus 1 and 2. but the horizontal translation is found make whatever in the bracket equals to 0, and it becomes, and solve it, x becomes -1. So the horizontal translation is -1 units. That means 1 unit to the left. Okay, if it's positive, it means units 1 unit to the right. But in this case, it's -1. Okay. Similarly, let's just draw it there. Okay. Similarly, if I have some, if I have a equation of minus x minus 10 square plus 10, okay, the shape of the graph, because of the minus sign in the front, it would look like this. Also, the turning point of the graph, the x coordinate will be 10, because whatever in the bracket, sorry, whatever in the bracket makes it equal to 0, and x equals to 10. So your x coordinate is 10, and your y coordinate just a sign there, 10. It's positive 10, just copy it down, positive 10. Okay. Now I'll just label it. Whatever in the bracket makes it equal to 0. Copy this 10 just down there. Okay, and you have this 10 there. That's your turning point. This is how do we find the turning point of the parabola without sketching the graph. Okay, and well, I just sketched the graph of this one. It would look like x and y. It would look like turning point is 10, 10 here, 10, 10, the turning point. So it goes something like this. Okay. So yeah, it will be something like this. And okay, sorry again, I have to yeah, draw it properly. I draw it properly. Okay. X and y is 10, 10. Okay, say this is the turning point. Okay, and the x-intercept, sorry, the y-intercept, make it x equal to 0, and y would be 0 will be minus 90. So this point here is minus 90. Okay, I'm sorry the graph is not in scale, but you just get the idea. And we can find the y-intercept by the x-intercept by assuming y equal to 0. So if we have 0 equals to minus x minus 10, sorry, 0, minus 10 square plus 10. We have to solve this equation by just minus 10 equals to minus x minus 10 square, and x minus 10 square equals to 10. X equals to, okay, I do it step by step. X minus 10 would equals to plus or minus square root of 10. So x will be 10 plus or minus 10 square root of 10. So x will be 10 plus square root of 10 or 10 minus square root of 10. So that's this the left x-intercept must be 10 minus square root of 10 here. The x-intercept in the right must be 10 plus square root of 10. Okay, and well, of course we have to label the graph. Plus 10, and x belongs to our domain. Okay, this is basically how do we do how do we draw the graph here. Okay, make it an example. Okay, so similarly